Hello there, my fellow notebook aficionados. I hope you all had a great start into the new year, and I also hope you got your seatbelts fastened, because CES 2024 is around the corner, which means the next weeks will be chock full of juicy tech news and awesome new products. While we will be in Vegas to get you as much hands-on info as possible, the good folks from Dell invited us to New York at the end of last year to show off what's new in their lineup for 2024. And guys, I hope you are all ready for this. After almost half a decade, we are finally getting a completely redesigned XPS family. Well, maybe not completely, since if you remember the XPS 13 Plus from last year, the new lineup will look very familiar. But we do get two additional new form factors, new I/O, new components and OLEDs across the board. While I personally found the new models quite exciting, Dell also did some very questionable things that not every one of you guys will agree with. And I am quite curious to hear what you have to say about these puppies in the end. But as always, let's start at the beginning. In 2023, Dell dipped its toes into carefully refreshing the XPS brand identity with the before-mentioned 13-inch model, while the rest of the lineup, most notably the 15 and 17-inch, came with the same chassis as their predecessors. There was nothing inherently wrong with those, but it became clear that the cooling solution was pushed beyond its capabilities to handle all the latest silicon from both Intel and Nvidia. In stark contrast, the new design of the smaller sibling did change up things quite significantly. Not only for Dell, but the invisible haptic glass trackpad, seamless keycaps and the touch buttons that made up the F-row made the small XPS instantly recognizable, within the plethora of boring looking notebooks in this very class. For 2024, Dell carries over that very same design but scales it up for a 14-inch and a 16-inch chassis. All models share the same seamless trackpad experience, the super clean keyboard, thin bezels and overall very stylish appearance, which will be available in the silver white and a darker grey platinum color. While the design is new, the folks from Dell did not compromise on material selection and build quality. Very much like their predecessors, the new lineup is exceptionally well made, with stiff hinges, sturdy display lids and no chassis flags at all. Before we get into the individual specs and options for each size, let's have a look at I/O. While the 13-incher is keeping its pair of Thunderbolt 4s, both the XPS 14 and 16 are using their larger chassis to fit an additional USB-C Thunderbolt 4 and thankfully add a 3.5mm headphone jack. In addition, we get a micro SD card reader, but that's actually it. Keeping in mind that you will have to use one of the USB-Cs for charging, your connectivity options will be quite limited. Personally, I would have loved to get at least an HDMI and maybe either a full-size SD card reader or a fourth USB-C like we have seen on the XPS models from yesterday. To Dell's credit, they will include a USB-C to HDMI and USB-A adapter within the box. Alright folks, let's talk specs for each model, kicking things off with the performance flagship, the XPS 16. On the CPU side, you will be able to choose between the Intel Core Ultra 7 155H or 165H, or push things properly with the Ultra 9 185H. Alongside Intel's new Meteor Lake chips, Dell offers fast RAM options with up to 32 or even 64 gigs of LPDDR5X memory running at 7467 MHz, while the more entry-level focused options scale things back to 16 or 32 gigs running at a more modest 6400 MHz. With those speeds, you may have guessed it, the RAM is unfortunately soldered, but at least in the 16-inch version we get a single upgradable NVMe slot. On the GPU side of things, you can choose between the entirety of Nvidia's mid-range lineup, ranging from the 4050 and 4060 running at a max of 50 watts, or the 4070 bringing things up to a 60 watt power target. In the display department, you can choose between a 500 nits Full HD 120Hz sRGB panel or treat yourself with some more eye candy with a 4K OLED touch display running at up to 90 Hz. For everyone craving something lighter and much more portable without sacrificing too much performance, the XPS 14 is keeping the two Core Ultra 7 CPU options alongside the before mentioned RAM configurations. But you are limited to the RTX 4050 running at a mere 30 watts. Once more, Dell offers two display options, one being a 120Hz sRGB non-touch variant and the other a 3.2K OLED refreshing at up to 90 Hz. Interestingly, the smaller sibling is keeping up with its new and shiny bigger brothers in the CPU department, with Intel's H CPUs, which also means that you will have access to the new Intel Arc graphics to somehow make up for the non-existing dedicated GPUs in the good-looking 13-incher. RAM configs are also quite impressive, ranging from 8 to a whopping 64 gigs, and this time around you can choose between a Full HD non-touch sRGB panel, a QHD Plus Touch DCI-P3 option running at up to 120Hz, and the obligatory 4K OLED variant. Alright folks, that's pretty much all there is to say about these beauties for now. While my time with them has been very limited, I must admit I like the overall styling for these a lot. But given the CPU and GPU options and power levels I have seen, Dell is definitely not targeting the performance crown with their refreshed XPS lineup, but rather a very careful balance between style, portability, screen quality and battery life, while still giving power users or content creators enough performance headroom to get stuff done on the road. But please let me know what you think about these puppies, which one would be your pick and in what configuration. Sound off in the comments below. And please do not forget that Dell announced a lot more stuff today, so please head over to our website for all the latest updates and news. As always, a big thanks to all of you for watching. If you are new here, please make sure to subscribe and make proper use of that like button. My name is Alex, you have been absolutely wonderful and I cannot wait to see you all in the next one. Take care.